I have been a founder long enough to know that one of the major tool and factor that can make any startup succeed is funding. If you're watching this video right now, it's simply because you are building something, or you're about to start building something, or you're already in the process of growing your startup. Regardless of the stage that you're in right now in your process, you certainly need funding. One of two ways you can get funding. First, you can get it organically using your product or service to raise funds from customers, or you can get it from investors. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can leverage the two parts to fund your business. This is not a coaching, this is not a training. I want to show you practically how you can implement a system to fund your business. My name is Wale Adebayo. I'm the founder and CEO of IHAD Business. We are a venture studio company building series of portfolios of companies from scratch and 100% bootstrapping. Now, the system I'm about sharing with you is exactly what we are using to build our portfolio businesses. As a founder, I've had the experience of struggling to raise revenue. I've been ghosted by investors multiple times. Even my own very close friends, trust me, have ghosted me when I asked them to come invest into my business. Yes, right now we're bootstrapping because we discovered that we probably don't need to take on investors funding because we developed a system that is working for us. And you're probably in that situation. You've tried pitching, sending your pitch deck to investors, and for some, they just reply you with a rejection. Some, they literally just ghost you. And maybe right now you're feeling really, really frustrated. You're feeling like nothing is working because you have tried several things. You've done marketing, you've pitched, you've done almost everything you know how to do, and yet you are still struggling. And you're just at the point where you're like, maybe this is not what I should be doing. You're losing momentum and you're thinking of giving up. What I'm going to share with you right now, it might change the game for you. So I need you to pay attention in the next 7 to 10 minutes. So if you're in a situation right now where you're struggling to get your early customers and start making revenue, or you are in a situation where you're looking for investors, hoping that investors will fund your business, and you're sending out pitch decks, but you're not getting any response, or you're at that stage where you're feeling frustrated and feel like giving up the whole thing, well, I got good news for you. You can move from where you are right now to where you want to be, which is number one, having consistent recurring revenue as organic funds to grow your business. Secondly, instead of chasing investors, you can go to attracting investors. Now, this is not gimmick. This is not to make you feel excited. This is practical. It is real, and it is already happening in startup businesses, right? And then thirdly, you can go from being frustrated to living free, happy, and fulfilled. How can you go from this to this? So what is the vehicle that will take you from here to this place? Now, the vehicle we have created and we are implementing in our venture studio, where we are building startup businesses from scratch, 100% bootstrap, is what we call the FOB-FX. So what is FOB-FX? FOB-FX stands for Funding on User-Based Foundation System. These systems simply involve using three major frameworks. What are the frameworks? First, the first framework is creating a premium value offer. Second framework is creating a traction acquisition machine. And then the third framework is implementing the PVO, the premium value offer, and then the traction acquisition machine term, and using these two to get results. So let me share with you how this works. First, to get funded by investors, you need to prove that you can be fundable. What does that mean? It means that you need to prove that you have traction. Because the fact is this, investors do not fund ideas. Investors fund real businesses that have proof of traction, that have market validation. So that is the first stage. The first stage is to prove that your business can be fundable by investors. And what investors are looking for is traction. That is the difference between businesses that get funding from investors and businesses that do not get funding from investors. Do you have traction? Traction is not just having number of users who are using your product. Real traction is having users or customers who are paying for your product. It's not enough to have people who are using your product for free or having a free community. It is people who are actually using their card to pay for your stuff. That is real traction that investors are looking for. And then the good advantage of having such traction is that you organically raise funds to fund your business, which comes in as revenue from sales of your product, service to your customers. Now, I'm going to share a quick story with you of a company that you probably know or may not know that used the same strategy to attract investors. And even after attracting investors, they still told the investors, no, we do not want your money because we are self-sufficient. ClickFunnels is a software company co-founded by Russell Brunson and Todd Dickerson. When they started building ClickFunnels, they didn't have the fund to completely build the product to where it should be before launch. So they needed funds to build the product. I mean, you're probably in that stage where you'll be like, I need funds to build this product. What these guys choose to do is they choose to bootstrap. And up to this day, ClickFunnels is still bootstrapping, doing over $200 million annually in recurring revenue. You heard me right, 100% bootstrap. But let's get back to the story. So what did they do? Now, Russell Brunson is the marketing guy. Todd Dickerson is the developer. So while Todd Dickerson is developing the product, they both decide to create an offer, a premium value offer, PVO. With that PVO, now mind you, the PVO is not the product because the product is still under development. However, they created an offer that will serve the same clients like the product they are building, the SaaS product, right? Which is sales funnel. So they created a premium value offer, took that offer into the market and start selling it to customers. Now, they achieved two things by doing this. Number one, they achieve revenue to keep on building the product they are building. And then secondly, they achieved customers, users. Now, even though the product wasn't ready, they were already making revenue. And at the same time, they were building their customer base with the premium value offer they've created. By the time the product was ready, because the fund from the customer was what they used to build the product, by the time the product was ready, they presented the product to the customer. So which means that they first of all created the market and then built the product and present the product to the market. What most startup founders do right now is they first of all build the product, and when the product is ready, they start looking for the market to introduce the product to. And guess what? Most of the time, when they do it that way, they discover that the market is not interested in what they have built. So it's always better to first of all build the market, use concept feedback and the money from the market to build the product, and when you build it, you introduce the product to the market. That way there's a synchrony and the market easily accept and adapt to using the product. That was exactly what ClickFunnels did. Until today, they are still using the same strategy to develop more and other products that they are launching. So what you want to do is, number one, create a premium value offer to create a traction acquisition machine and implement the traction acquisition machine. What this would do for you is, number one, it will give you organic funding as revenue to grow your business. And secondly, it will give you customers who are paying for your stuff. Now with this, you have proof of traction, which leads us to the second part of the funding, investors fund. Now remember, I said there are two parts to funding, the organic way and then the investors part. Now I've shown you how you can use the organic path to generate revenue and also gain traction. Now let's focus on the investors part. Now you have traction. So what do? You attract investors with your traction so that you can pitch to investors, and most likely, because you already have traction, investors are going to say yes to you if you are pitching to the right investors that are investing in your industry. Investors do not fund ideas. Idea does not prove traction. Revenue, customers, these are what prove traction. How do you get traction? Because that's probably where you are right now. You're trying to get revenue, you're trying to get customers who will pay for your stuff, and at the same time you're hoping that you can find an investor who will invest in your business. Maybe you have sent out pitch decks to investors and you're hoping that you get a positive result. You're praying. Well, I want to take you from the process of hoping and praying into certainty of getting funded. Now, certainty of getting funded, number one, through the organic route, and at the same time through the investors route. Now, what we have done in our company is we have created a program called the Startup Funding Program. Now, this program is specifically for the purpose of helping startups get funded, nothing else. The goal of this program is to help startup founders like yourself to get funded. And we created a time frame which we have tested, 35 days to funding. Now, I'll show you how it works. First, the Startup Funding Program is divided into two parts: the workshop and then the implementation. The workshop is where we use the FOB-FS to set up your organic fundraising system. Remember, I said the FOB-FS includes your premium value offer PVO, your traction acquisition machine TAM, and then the implementation. Now, that's for the workshop, which means that in the workshop, we will help you set up your organic fundraising system, aka recurring revenue generating system. And then the other part of it is the 30-day implementation challenge, where you implement what you have set up. It's not enough for you to set up the system, you have to implement the system to actually get results. And then most importantly, in the 30 days, use the results you will get to pitch to an investor. Now, we've created a complete system here. In the last week of the 30 days, we'll bring in investors that you will pitch to. Now, when you're pitching to this investor, you're not pitching to them based on idea, you're pitching to them based on proof of traction. So the goal, first of all, is to, number one, help you get traction, which is customers and revenue. And number two, pitch your traction to these investors. Very likely you will get accepted and funded by one of these investors that we will bring in the close circle that we have created. So we have the 5 days for the workshop where we do the setup, and then we have the 30 days where we do the implementation. Now, the 30-day implementation is a challenge. We have set up a minimum organic fundraising benchmark for the 30 days. That minimum benchmark is $30,000. With your PVO and your traction acquisition machine that you will create in the workshop, your goal, your challenge, and the challenge for every other founders in the program will be to use the PVO and the TAM to achieve a minimum benchmark of $30,000 in 30 days in the implementation program. So the workshop, the implementation. Here you do the setup of your system, your organic fundraising system, and then here you come to implement that system to achieve a minimum benchmark of $30,000. Now that benchmark becomes your proof of traction. Now, once you have that, on the last week of the 30 days, we bring in investors, and then you pitch to investors your traction. How have you used your traction? What problem do you solve? Who are your market? How have your market accepted you? What is proof that your market have accepted you? And how else can you serve the market? What are you looking for? How are you looking to scale your business? Why do you need fund? How much do you need in funding? Or what do you need? What do you need from the investors? You pitch all of these to the investors with proof of traction that you already have. And most likely, you get funded. This is a system we have created to help you get funded in 35 plus days. For deciding to be part of the Startup Funding Program, you will get this benefit. Number one, you will build your complete organic fundraising system. Number two, you will get proof of traction, aka revenue and customers. Number three, you would have raised $30,000 in organic funding using your customer base. Number four, you will get opportunity to pitch with your traction to an investor or investors that we will bring into the group to fund your business. So the question is, do you want to be part of this program? This program has been designed not to accommodate a large number of persons. We are not looking for crowd. We're not looking for a large number of people. The smaller the room is, the more effective and result driven it will be. We want to be able to focus and help you get results. So this is not about how many people it is. No, we're looking for a small number of people who are ready to put in the time, commitment, and most importantly, implementation. Because this is not a coaching, this is not a training, this is execution. It is 100% practical. And as a startup founder, you know that execution requires commitment, time, and focus. So we need people who will commit, put in the time, and do the work with focus. And if you believe that this is a right fit for you, then I invite you to click the button below to book a call where you and I would further assess your readiness to join the program. And if you qualify to be part of the program, I and my team will be more than glad to send you an invitation and welcome you to the program. Lastly, the program is not free. It requires a certain investment financially. However, it is affordable. What that means is whatever financial situation you are right now, you can afford the program. So we are not focusing on the affordability or the investment fee for the program. What we are most concerned about is ability to commit, focus, and do the work, execute. My name is Wale Adebayo, and I hope to speak with you soon. Cheers.